In the last video, I achieved 75 Slayer by using 106,000 cannonballs on my 10 HP Ironman account. Since Ironman accounts are prohibited from using the Grand Exchange, I was forced to make these 106,000 cannonballs from scratch. So my 3-month journey of making cannonballs and getting 75 Slayer has now come to an end. So where do we go from here? Well, after the last video, I was still 100% convinced that I was going to be using the Venom method in hopes of getting the granite maul. The Venom method gives me 1.33 HP experience per kill, which means that I only would have a 26% chance of getting the granite maul before I would be 11 HP. So like I said, I had every intention of using this method, and I started off this episode by grinding 71 to 75 fletching. I figured at 75 fletching, I could at least use stews to temporarily boost to 80 fletching, which would allow me to at least make a magic shortbow. At 75 fletching, I decided to take a break and do a hard clue in my bank, and well, this is what happened. Oh my gosh, we did get the casket. The chances of getting a hard casket on this account is so slim because most of the steps I can't do, so pairing up 5 steps in a row that I can actually do is incredible. Oh my god. What are the chances? Dude, first gilded, hard clue number 2? So according to the OSRS wiki, the chances of me getting a specific gilded piece are 1 in 35,750. But we all know that a gilded piece isn't what I'm after. I need to find a way to stay at 10 HP while having a 100% chance success rate at getting the granite maul. So I set out to see if it was possible. So a lot of people have always said that gargoyles are pretty much impossible to recoil because they heal quicker than you can deal recoil damage. But I wanted to take that observation and actually put it to the test. Based on a DPS calculator, a gargoyle has a 95% chance of hitting me. I found that 78% of the time I will recoil a 1 and 17% of the time I'll recoil a 2. This means that every time a gargoyle hits me, which is every 4 game ticks, I will deal 1.12 damage on average. And according to Mod Ash, a gargoyle heals 1 health every 5 game ticks. Plotting this information didn't seem too convincing. On average, it would take over 13 minutes for just 1 gargoyle kill. But that's okay because I had another idea. What if I used the 0 HP XP method on top of both recoiling and poisoning? So I must admit, at this point I needed my good friend I'm Tedious to put all of these variables into an Excel spreadsheet for me. And what we found when factoring in the poisoning component as well was my total damage per second was 0.40, meaning that the total time to kill a gargoyle was about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And this wasn't even factoring in what my Dragon Dagger special attack would hit the gargoyle at the beginning of each kill. From a pure numbers perspective, it seemed like sub 4 minutes was possible, and this method could actually yield a successful gargoyle kill. But it was time to put my theory crafting to the test. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it worked. Oh, and it's poison. Focus. No! That would have been the first 0 HP XP gargoyle. So that was my first attempt and it went incredibly well. I was so happy with it. So basically, if you haven't seen this method before, this is called the 0 XP method, where you can deal damage without gaining any experience. Now, it's only possible for the first hit of any kill, and how it works is you attack something and open an interface stall at the same time. When the gargoyle is 1 tick away from respawning, that's right, so between 0.0 and 0.6 seconds from respawning, you're going to exit out of your interface, and your account will actually attack on the same hit that the NPC respawns. And when you attack something on the same tick that it respawns, the game doesn't give you experience for some reason. What you're seeing in this example is me hitting a ridiculously good number, but unfortunately the poison not hitting the gargoyle. Poison rolls at a 25% chance, so this unfortunately was part of the 75% chance where the gargoyle actually doesn't get poisoned and my method won't work. So that's nice that I know the chance of poisoning, but what's actually my chance of hitting? I used the DPS calculator to figure that out. So I first inputted all of my metrics, including my stats and my gear. I then moved on to customizing a monster because the gargoyles weren't on there. And I took all of the gargoyle stats from the OSRS wiki. From there, I figured out that my chance of hitting was 53.99%. So if I take the 53.99% and times it by 25%, which gives me the chance of hitting and the chance of poisoning, yikes, we're only looking at about 13.5%. So now you see the first challenge of the method, and I have to point out the second challenge as well, and that's the number of Guthix Ts that I need in order to do the method. I need about 20 Guthix Ts per kill, which means even just to go drop rate, which is 1 in 256, I would need the equivalent of about 5,100 Guthix Resks. And that also assumes that I don't mess up, meaning that I don't die halfway through the kill and effectively just waste half of the Guthix Resks with nothing to show for. So making 5,100 Guthix Resks is obviously going to be a passive grind. I think that the only way to make this an active grind is if you know how to tick eat melee using the elemental shield. If you tick eat each hit, you can use something like sacks of cabbages instead of actually having to use Guthix Resks, which would make this a whole heck of a lot quicker. But unfortunately for me, I just can't quite figure it out. Alright, let's try it again. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit again. $12. Oh, it's poisoned. Okay. First kill. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. My heart was racing so much that entire kill. You see that? 1254 HP XP. You see that? 1254 HP XP. No XP gained. If you guys are enjoying the video, I would ask that you please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Nearly 77% of you aren't subscribed still, so if you enjoy my content and want to support me, the best way to do that is leaving a like and subscribing down below. So meanwhile, everything continued to go to plan. I got kills number 2 and 3, and then, well, we ran into a little bit of a hiccup. No! Well, shit. You learn something new every day, I guess. So, what I was trying to do in that clip is Mac H's auto retaliate was actually off, and the reason why was because the gargoyle was nearly dead. And well, what I didn't realize is apparently aggressiveness can change from one player to another, and it changed because, well, yeah, I wasn't attacking it on Mac H. but still, it just kind of seems like a broken mechanic to me. So yeah, when the aggressiveness changed, obviously the interface was closed and my liability attacked. And yeah, sadly that cost me 46 hit points experience, which is the equivalent of killing about 34 gargoyles using the venom method. So I get kill number 4 without an issue, and then, well, what happened next was, I think, the first big mistake at gargoyles. So basically the gargoyle that I was using to no XP manipulate the whole time near the wall was about to respawn, but another gargoyle was coming near my liability. So I tried to quickly attack that gargoyle on Mac H, and I missed exiting out of the interface on my liability by, let's call it, 0.1 seconds, which was just enough for me not to attack on the same tick as it respawned, and thus unfortunately getting me experience. If you really slow-mo the clip like I've done here, you can actually see that I closed out of the interface prior to the gargoyle spawning. So based on that, I think that actually came down to ping, and I wasn't exactly late per se. But whether I was late or not doesn't really matter, because I'm 13 HP XP away from 11, and I only have 4 kill count. I want to leave you guys with this.